Hello, everyone. We would like to introduce you all to our first Mastering Maize and Blue podcast of the 2021 orientation season. I am your host, Sarah Khaleefah, and your other host.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lydia Flemming.
This podcast, we're going to be talking about being a UM-Dearborn student, and you're going to get some information about activities and resources on campus and about student life. So before we get started, a little intro. My name is, again, Sarah Khaleefah. I am a Health and Human Services major, some involvements, WIL, MedLife, Our Generation's Keeper, and the SURE program. And my favorite book is Pride and Prejudice. I'm actually reading it for the third time right now, so I'll let Lydia introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lydia. I'm majoring in both psychology and criminology right now, and I'm involved in Pride and on public relations for the Criminology and Criminal Justice Collective. And my favorite book is The Awakening.
Now to introduce our special guest, Drew Dykowski. He is the Student Organization Consultant Team Lead at the Office of Student Life. So I'll give him a minute to say hi.
Hello, everybody. My name's Drew. I'm going to my senior year now at UM-Dearborn, so that's kind of weird to say. But I'm also involved in a couple different orgs. I used to be with Michigan Journal as a sports editor and the managing editor. Now I'm just a writer. And I've also involved back in Stories and Sports, which is a cool org. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I was also used to be an orientation leader, so it's weird being on this side of things. But I'm super excited to see the questions you're all going to ask me today.
Thank you, Drew.
Okay, well, to get started with that, the first question we have for you is, what is your favorite part about UM-Dearborn?
So actually, it's kind of like the picture that's on the screen right there, even though I don't think I'm in that picture. But I'd have to say it's the people that I've met here is probably my favorite part, as well as just the overall welcoming environment. I've made so many friends, both virtually and in person. For example, Sarah and I are kind of friends, and I've never actually met her in person before. So virtually in person has been awesome during my 3 years here at UM-Dearborn. I found friends that honestly have made me feel more at home, and I've been fortunate to learn from several other friends who are from different backgrounds than me. I went to like a relatively small high school. We were all kind of like from the same area, looked the same, everything. So that's been really fun to kind of just meet new people and learn more things. And I also feel like I've really grown a lot in my time here, and feel more comfortable with who I am than I did when I started a few years ago.
Yeah, I absolutely love the diversity at UM-Dearborn. I feel like you don't get that in a lot of other campuses, but the fact that everyone comes from all over Michigan, it makes it a really special experience. So on to our second question. How would you describe campus and the community?
So it's going to be kind of repetitive here, but as I said in the previous question, it is a very welcoming environment, and it's filled with just tons of great people. Again, great diverse people, people from all different walks of life. And I really feel like it's a lot easier for me to find people with similar interests as me, or people that are just more have the same personalities or same. It's just easier to make friends. And honestly, that really wasn't the case when I was in high school. I had friends, but I never really felt like I fit in, if that makes sense. So I really just felt more comfortable here, and I've talking to other people, it seems like we're all kind of in agreement with that. So it's just really very welcoming, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, you're going to find some people who are similar to you or even maybe different than you that you can still get along with. So yeah, it's really awesome. And like I said before too, I feel more comfortable here than I have anywhere else. And a big reason for that is because of the positive campus community.
And I just wanted to add on, I've noticed something really similar to that. I'm a sophomore, so all my classes have been online, but it still has been so welcoming, and I've been able to meet so many people with similar interests to me. So it's really great.
And it's not just students too. It's also like the professors. I know you might have some, maybe it might be hard in the classes, but outside of the classes, all the professors I've had the pleasure of being in their class with, they've been awesome, as well as different faculty that I've worked with in my job here with OSL. So yeah, it's not just the students, it's everybody that really goes on and making like the campus awesome, even like for yourself, which has to be tough. But even though it's virtual, it's still great. So yeah.
I think that's definitely a comfort for any incoming freshmen to see how welcome the environment is, and how because there is like a little stigma around coming to college and like the fear. So it's definitely comforting for incoming freshmen to hear that.
Yeah.
So the third question we have for you is, what are some of your main responsibilities?
So as the team lead for the student organization consultants, I help the other consultants with any concerns or problems they may run into. I help develop new programs like our Go Blue Day or our Welcome Week. And I also run our weekly meetings and kind of a lot of conflict management there with different orgs or different problems that might arise. However, I also still do a lot of the different responsibilities that are for just all the student org consultants. There's 3 of us. And this includes managing our student organization website, which is Victor's Link, approving student org events, resolving any student org problems, like I said earlier, helping form new student orgs, which is my personal favorite thing to do, create new student org policies, review the budget for each student org, meet with our supervisor twice a week, Tyler Gannett. He's awesome. Collaborate with the Student Organization Advisory Council, or the SOAC, manage the Student Organization Center, which is in the University Center, host various different workshops. We have done some on like hosting virtual events, hosting in-person events, retaining membership, leadership, all sorts of different workshops. We also manage our Fuel leadership training, which is on Canvas, and really anything else that may pop up over the course of the school year. So I know I said a lot of things there, but that's kind of everything that we do.
So if a student is looking to start a new org, they would go through you?
Yeah, they go through us. I think I added on the last slide my contact information. We have an email. It's orgconsultants@umich.edu. So if you are interested in starting a new org, you just email that email, and either myself, Alyssa, or Rashana will respond and kind of detail the process, and we'll probably meet with you too. So yeah.
That's great. What is your favorite part about your job? I know there's a lot to do, so it might be hard to pin down.
So like I said, kind of in the previous question, I do really love helping students create new orgs. We have a lot of meetings just like this. Unfortunately, most of them have been virtual the last year and a half now. But kind of seeing them have like an idea in mind and then kind of help them kind of bring that idea into fruition. And I've been working in this job now for about 2 years. So a lot of the orgs that I helped create back in 2019 are now like full-fledged orgs. They're doing a lot of awesome, great work. Even one last year that I helped, well, Tyler was more the point person on that, but I also kind of helped as well. The first gen org as well has done so many great things, which has also been great. So I really like doing that, as well as working with my fellow student workers, with pre-existing student orgs. And I also love working with other professional workers with the university, create policies, resolve conflicts. I really love seeing something that I've kind of said with the new orgs, saying something that I've actually worked a lot on and actually kind of enacts change firsthand. And I also am able to apply what I learned from the pro staff into my future career as a teacher. So I don't think I mentioned at the top, but I'm studying to be a teacher. So just learning like conflict management skills, all sorts of different things like that, public speaking, a lot of different things I'll have to do. As a teacher, I'm learning from really awesome professional workers. So those, I know I kind of cheated. I didn't say one thing that's my favorite part, but it's an awesome job. So I said a few different things.
It's all right. I do have a question. Are you finding that there are a good amount of students that are interested in opening orgs? I've never like gone through the process, but does it seem like there's that drive to open new orgs?
Yeah, so I'm gonna brag a little bit here. So when we in the summer of 2019, there was a lot of different changes in our office. It used to not be called the Office of Student Life. It used to be called the Office for Student Engagement. And back then there was just the process was really long. It'd take like a year to get an org recognized. But then when the office kind of changed and Tyler took over, and I just happened to also be there, we kind of really shrunk the process down. So now it's in about a month. So we kind of cut it down from like I said, by 11 months. So now that that's in place, we have so many students that are interested in starting new orgs. And even though it's been virtual, we've approved, I think, 15 to 20 new orgs in the last year. And we've even done, I think, three or four of them just during the summer. So that's been like the last month and a half. So yeah, there's plenty of orgs plenty of students who are interested in starting new orgs.
So another question we have for you is, what is the best way you recommend students start to get involved? And when do you recommend that they start looking into these clubs and organizations?
So this is going to be another long answer from me because it's a big question, but so you can visit Victor's Link, like I mentioned earlier. That's our student organization. It's kind of like a Facebook, like social media kind of thing for all orgs. Every org has a page. So you can just go in there. There's an easy search bar. You just search whatever org you're interested in. You could even just put, like, if you're interested in sports, just type sports, and it'll come up with all different orgs that are pertain to sports. So I would highly recommend checking out Victor's link. And you can also directly reach out to the leadership to join there. As I said before, if there is a new org you want to create, you can reach out to us, and that's another great way to get involved. And then I'd also recommend going to our Go Blue Day, which it's not fully approved. That's going to be in person, and the name might change. But it's going to be on the last day of summer, so the first day before fall classes start. And all the orgs will be out. I'm not sure if either of you were able to go. The last one we had in person was in 2019, and we had kind of a virtual one in 2020. But it's a really awesome way to meet people, to meet orgs, to get involved, as well as our different fall. We'll have a fall involvement fair. Again, we're still kind of waiting for approval, but the hope is that'll also be in person, as well as the winter involvement fair. And you can also, general meetings are open for any orgs. For the most part, they're public, so you can just drop in. Like I said, if you search and you find an org you're interested in, you can go there and check it out and learn a lot from them. And then also, even if you're not into sporting events, or you're not into dances, or you're not into going to a lecture, or you're not into going to events, just go to them, and you'll be amazed by how many people that you meet. And even like for me, I went to a lecture. I remember, I'm not kind of going on a tangent here. I know I've already talked enough, but I went to it was on, like, I'm a history teacher, so it was kind of interesting, but I think it was on PTSD. And I originally had to go for a class, but I went to, and I found it really interesting. And I was able to meet like some awesome people there while I was at the lecture. I went to an art show. So just do different things, step out of your comfort zone. And you can really, it's a great way to get involved, in my opinion. And also just hanging out on campus and just kind of hanging out in the university center. Again, you'll be amazed by how many great people you'll meet. And then to the second part of your question, when do I recommend people start looking into it? I'd really recommend looking into it like right now, like as soon as you can. Like I said, a lot of orgs are still active in the summer, so you can reach out to them right now. And then speaking from previous experience, in addition to obviously having fun within your org, joining an org your freshman year, especially early on in your freshman year, it really allows you to learn more about the campus. You make friends quickly. I think, Sarah, you said earlier, kind of like that worry and anxiety that you have when you start college, especially now because everything's kind of like still up in the air and you're going back from COVID. There's so many different anxieties and worries and concerns that we're all dealing with. Kind of joining and kind of making you feel at home within an org will really help alleviate a lot of that anxiety. And that really, I have anxiety, I worry, I stress a lot. So that was something that really helped me out when I joined student government in the Michigan Journal my freshman year. So yeah, I'd recommend starting and looking into it as soon as you can.
That's great to hear. I knew about Victor's link, but I wasn't aware of how many other events they had specifically for orgs and for student involvement. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think it's also cool to add that a lot of these lectures and different orgs can meet online. So you're able to go to these meetings online without having to go in person all the time.
Yeah, and we just recently approved a policy. So off-campus in-person events are still allowed, or are now allowed, but on-campus in-person events are still not allowed right now at this moment in time. So you can, if you want to do in-person stuff, you can do in-person stuff. But like you said, Lydia, the virtual meetings are also really great.
Are they hoping to see a shift back to in-person on campus this coming fall?
Yeah, that is the hope right now. Like I said, with the Go Blue Day, nothing is official yet, but kind of give you a peek behind the curtain. I do have a curtain back here. I can pretend to peek behind. We are hoping and we're working on plans that will be back for the most part fully in the fall. So that's the hope. So everyone keep your fingers crossed.
Hopefully. So what distinguishes, in your opinion, UM-Dearborn from other colleges in terms of student life?
So actually, it's kind of something that I mentioned earlier, and something that you kind of also mentioned, Sarah, is that we're very diverse, and we have students from all different walks of life. And students like me, who, like I said, I went to a relatively small high school. We were all kind of the same. It allows you to learn more and grow a greater sense of appreciation for people who are different than yourself. And you learn a lot of different new cultures and a lot of different things that you didn't even know about before. And we're also a commuter campus primarily. So that is awesome in a way, because it means that we have student life present on campus, but we also have student life present off campus. Other colleges, sometimes you go, it's only on campus. But because we have people that are, sometimes traveling from different places, we'll have different events off campus, we'll have different events on campus. It's very welcoming to students who maybe, if they have a job or for whatever reason, they're not able to be on campus a lot. you can still be very much involved and still get like a really awesome college experience, even if you are primarily a commuter student. And then also, if you want to be on campus a lot, we get like with the union or anything, there's a great life and campus life on campus as well. So really, I feel like we're very welcoming to every different type of student. And also it's very diverse. So that's what I would say distinguishes it from other student life.
Yeah, I definitely like that it's community school just because it's like 10 minutes away from my house. But the fact that you mentioned that there's so much student life off campus, it never occurred to me that that was such a privilege when you had a commuter school.
So another question we have for you are what are some of the main benefits for those wanting to get involved early on in their college experience?
Yeah, so for this, it's going to be kind of a repeat of what I said a couple questions ago, I think, about like when I would recommend people get involved. The big benefit is that it really allows you to learn more about the campus. So I know, like for me, I was like, man, I don't know where anything's at. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. But because I joined student government in the Michigan Journal, I was able to learn a lot about like the different ins and outs of campus. And again, you can make friends quickly. I know that was a big worry I had, was like, are people going to like me? What's going to happen? You know, I don't know. So you're able to make friends through the different involvements that you have. And also, like I said, all encompassing, it alleviates a lot of the worry and stress and anxiety and everything that I think every person has to some extent when you start college. So I definitely would have been much more stressed out and worried my freshman year if I hadn't joined the orgs that I did to start college. So, and then also it kind of carries on too. So the friendships and the knowledge I gained through those experiences, I'm still friends with a lot of those people. And then it also laid the foundation for me to have an enjoyable and successful college experience, because I kind of felt more comfortable with everything. And then I was able to, I think, be pretty successful. So those are what I would say are the big benefits.
That's great.
Yeah, I completely agree. So,
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, last year being a freshman, joining a bunch of clubs really helped me out. I met a lot of new people who had the similar interests as I do, and they showed me a lot of cool classes and different events that I could go to. So I really enjoyed doing that. Yeah,
it really kind of opens avenues. Like, I think you said you were in Pride in a few different orgs. I can't remember the other ones. I apologize. Or I think you said criminology and criminal justice collective too, right? Yeah. So
yes.
You can use, like, you start and you know people from those orgs, but then those can also like give you avenues and branch out, and you can learn more from other things as well. So yeah, it's awesome. I really highly recommend getting involved because there's so many benefits early on.
So outside of clubs and orgs, what are some other ways that students can become involved on campus?
So I kind of mentioned these earlier a little bit, but I guess these first two things I'm going to say are kind of also intertwined with orgs. But Go Blue Day, and as well as our fall and winter involvement fairs, are great ways to learn more things and get involved. But also just going to sporting events, like I said, going to the dances. I'm not sure if we're going to have the dances this year or not yet, but if we do, or if we have different events, not just our office, but just in general. It's really worth going to those because, like I said, you can meet a lot of great people. You get a lot of fun, meet a lot of great people, and yeah, and even just hanging out on campus. I mean, I've met several friends by just hanging out in the university center and just kind of eating lunch or whatever, and you see someone has a laptop sticker that's similar to yours, and you start talking, and next thing you know, you're friends or whatever. And I know it sounds cheesy, like it's in a movie, but that's actually what happens. You just kind of hang out, and you don't just kind of, I mean, if you have to, I get it. But you don't just go to class and go home. That's really important. And I think just hanging out, you'll be amazed at how involved you can get by just hanging out on campus. There's also the Welcome Week, which I mentioned a little bit earlier, which will be like we'll have different events, even though it's called Welcome Week. It's almost like Welcome Weeks this year. We'll have different events. I think the first 3 or 4 weeks of the semester in the fall. So try and go to those different events, as well as the Homecoming Week, which is typically the first week of October. That, like I said, a lot of fun activities there as well. Getting an on-campus job like I did, it is hard to get one, but if you do get one, that's another great way to meet faculty, meet staff, learn more about the campus, and just really be involved. And I guess the big over-encompassing thing that I can say is just don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because like I get it, like I'm very worried and anxious all the time as well, but just don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and you will be involved very easily on campus, I feel like.
what's your most memorable UMD experience so far?
Okay, so this is tough. Even though we have been online for the last year and a half, I still have had a lot of great experience. So I am going to cheat a little bit. I'm not just going to give you one. I'll give you a couple, but I'll try to be brief as I can. So in addition to working in the OSL, I did mention earlier, I've also had the pleasure of being an orientation leader in 2019 and 2020. Despite both experiences being very different, 19 it was all in person, 20 it was all virtual. I met so many great, amazing people. I had a lot of friends. We go to Michigan football games now. We went to Tiger games. I remember we had so many fun virtual parties last year. It was just a lot of fun, and that was a really great experience I had. I played intramural basketball and volleyball as well. Same thing. I love sports, so that was a lot of fun. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do those this year. But if they do, it's not like it's competitive, but it's not like you don't have to be a varsity athlete. You can just play even if you've never played a sport before. So those are just a lot of fun. And it was a part of Michigan Journal, writing, and I met a lot of great people. I know Roman. I know you can't see him right now, but he's on this call. I met him through the Michigan Journal. I met him through orientation leadering, and then we're in the Michigan Journal together. And then that kind of branched off into a sports podcast, which was a lot of fun as well, the Zone Defense podcast. And then I've just made so many friends through all those different experiences. It's just been a lot of fun. And like I said, unfortunately, last year was very tough with everything being virtual. But since we're hopefully returning in the fall, I'm really excited to hopefully have a ton more amazing experiences across my final year and a half of college.
Okay, so what advice would you give to a new UM-Dearborn student?
So I kind of said it before, but just get involved and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Since we are a traditional commuter campus, it can be very easy to just kind of go to class and go home and not get like the true college experience. And that's something that I definitely fell victim to early on in my time at UM-Dearborn. But if you put yourself out there, especially in your freshman year, you'll meet a ton of great people. You'll really grow as a person, and you'll overall have an amazing college experience. So like I said, go to events, go to sport games, try and get a campus job, talk to people in your classes, hang out in the university center, hang out around campus, and you'll make the most out of your time at a UM-Dearborn for sure.
Sorry about that. My connection cut off and it kicked me out. But I just want to say you're definitely a good example of someone who made the most out of the last year, still being virtual and everything. So it's great to hear that you still had that incredible college experience. And
Thank you.
To waste. Yeah.
It's definitely been tough. But yeah, like I said, we're all going through the similar thing. So you kind of just got to make the most of it.
So for our final question, just to lighten the mood a bit, are there any, I kind of hate this question, but are there any fun facts about you? I can never think of an answer, but you might have a better answer than I've ever had.
So I don't know if these are fun facts, but I just listed a few things. So like I said, I used to be the sports editor and managing editor for the Michigan Journal, which is the school newspaper. That was a lot of fun, and I'm still kind of a writer there too. So I loved my involvement there. I have a dog. He's kind of crazy at most. He's about a year and a half old now. He's kind of chilled out a little bit, but he's still pretty nuts. Superman is my favorite superhero, but I love all different comic books and movies and all that stuff. The Loki series, I watched the new episode yesterday, was awesome. I love all sports. I play sports. I watch sports, all sorts of different sports things. And like I said before, I co-host a sports podcast with fellow orientation leader Roman. And I'm also going into teaching, really looking forward to that. I'm hoping to do some coaching there as well. And then I also love kind of traveling, going up north, camping. I don't want to end this on a down note, but like it kind of sucked last year because we weren't able to do as much of that stuff, but I'm really looking forward to that. This summer is appearing to be maybe a little bit more normal. And I'm really looking forward to kind of getting back to being able to do those different things. So yeah, hopefully I don't know if those are fun facts, but those are facts about myself.
No, those are good. And fingers crossed that everything gets back to normal, just for everyone's sake. So let's give up some contact information. Like you mentioned earlier, for the website and as well for his email, if anyone is interested in even just starting an org or has any idea, there is Drew's contact information as well as the website for the Office of Student Life. And we want to thank Drew for being our special guest. This was really, really amazing. And your college experience is definitely a great one to hear about. And it's really good for freshmen to hear about as well, to see if they could have something of that college experience and to make the most of everything that has happened. If Lydia would like to say any last words.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on this podcast. It was really great, and I feel like it could help a lot of incoming students know more about different clubs and activities they could get involved on for campus.
Well, thank you for having me. You guys were great hosts. And yeah, if you need me to do this again, I'd love to. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, and I don't know if I'm the perfect example of what to do in college because I didn't mention any of my shortcomings in these questions. But yeah, just if I can do it, if I'm all anxious and worried all the time, and I can be successful, you can too. So yeah.
Good piece of advice. Thank you. So to end on a good note, if you're ready to keep mastering Maize and Blue, you can visit our website there for previous and future podcasts. Like I said, this is the first podcast of the 2021 orientation season, so we'll have a lot more coming your way, and they're recorded, so you can watch them at your own time. We want to thank everyone for watching, and we all hope you have a great day.